Hey Renegades, look, it's Sean Smith back again. A little bit less serious, a little bit less of a rant tonight. We're going to talk about this Predators win over the Winnipeg Jets. Now, the first thing I want to say is this. The Predators had a big team meeting on Saturday before their game against the Los Angeles Kings. Players led the meeting. Coaches called it. Players led it. Alex Doherty, my site mate over at A to Z Sports, wrote about that meeting. Players call it uncomfortable. They called it a meeting where the veteran players, the big money guys on the team, took accountability for the lackluster play leading up to that game, especially that game against St. Louis. And basically the team rededicated themselves to the task of playing up to higher standards and playing to the standard of doing everything you could to win. And it's exactly what they did against the Kings. Now, I put out an article today, which I wouldn't, go read it now because they've already kind of proved one of the things. But I said the Predators had a lot of stuff to prove in these last two games for the All-Star break. Of course, tonight against the Winnipeg Jets, Thursday against the New Jersey Devils. Two teams at the tops of their divisions, or at least close to the top of their division. And those are two teams that the Predators would want to beat, considering one of the big criticisms that's been levied at the team this season has been that they can only beat weaker teams and other teams occasionally that are in that mushy middle of the standings, the teams that are kind of in, kind of out of that wild card playoff chase right now. And when they come up against top-tier talent, such as the Winnipeg Jets tonight or the New Jersey Devils on Thursday, that they do not rise to the occasion. So I said that the Predators going into the All-Star break had a lot to prove by putting up big performances. And if they didn't have good results, if they had middling results or even losses, that it would not say very much about the future of this team and how they're going to do for the rest of the season. And of course, what happens over the next few weeks has a lot to do with what happens at the trade deadline. So the Predators played the Jets, and guess what? Pulled off the big win. It was close. It was 2-1. The Jets scored early, never scored again. The Predators got some good pressure. They looked pretty good. They outshot the Jets pretty heavily, and eventually enough shots took its toll on Connor Hellebuck. They got a couple of goals. Great goal by Cody Glass, deflecting a laser beam from Roman Josi. And then, of course, who can forget Tanner Jeannot with the wraparound, taking the lead back. And I tell you what, it was an exciting night for a lot of other reasons, too. Of course, the guys are playing with a lot of mojo, and that's exactly what you wanted to see. But you saw the whole team committing to that style of play. The biggest example I could say is this. Early in the game, Cody Glass took a big hit. Looked bad when I saw it, and I'm going to tell you why it looked bad when I saw it, from Logan Stanley of the Jets. Now, looked like it might have been high immediately, before Cody Glass has a chance to get up. Alex Carrier immediately comes to his defense, starts fighting with this guy, and it becomes apparent early on that the reason, boys and girls, that the hit looked like it might have been high was because Logan Stanley is 6'7". It's a huge mountain of a man. And, of course, Alex Carrier, 5'11". 8-inch height differential. Big difference on reach. But look, someone said it's not the size of the dog, but it's not the size of the... You know what? I don't know. Look, Carrier's got that dog in him. He showed it. And that's the important thing, right? He went to his teammates' aid. He sacrificed himself, and realistically, unfortunately, according to Coach Hines after the game, Carrier is injured as a result of that fight. And we didn't get a very extensive update. That's all we got. He apologized for not having a better update, and surely we'll know more tomorrow. But for now, we do know that Alex Carrier was injured in that fight and came back to the game for a while, but then sat out for the rest of the game. Cody Glass, of course, is okay. The hit looked high because the guy was a giant, but after the game had a chance to talk to goal scorer Cody Glass, who said that he felt bad, that Carrier had to fight for him, didn't want him to get hurt, felt like he definitely owed him a steak dinner or a new pair of shoes. Tell you what, Cody Glass is a lot of fun in the locker room. To be a kid playing at a high level as he is, he's got this very innocent, aw shucks attitude that plays really well. It's refreshing sometimes in the locker room to talk to somebody who's pretty unassuming and pretty honest and gives you pretty good, quick, honest, open reactions to things. So Nice to talk to him. I've got a tweet up of it over on the Twitter if you want to check it out. But a lot of the guys talked about sacrifice. They talked about how guys like Cole Smith, guys like Tanner Jeannot are doing all of the things they need to do to give the team the best chance to win, even if it doesn't show up on the score sheet. Now, it's interesting that a lot of people will demonize or villainize Cole Smith for this, but at the same time champion Tanner Jeannot. Jeannot and Smith have had very similar seasons, very similar results. A few more goals for Jeannot, but that's about it, just a few. So it's interesting that in those guys' eyes, Cole Smith scoring his first NHL goal, huge reaction from the bench. Tanner Jeannot scoring his first goal in quite a while, another huge reaction from the bench. This is a close-knit team. They mean a lot to each other. They fight for each other. They play for each other. Everybody on that team respects everybody else on that team. They showed up and played that way against the Jets. They need to show up and play that way against the Devils if they want to make a statement that they're a team that can make the playoffs and make some noise in the playoffs. Because the last thing this team needs is another first-round exit against a team that's headed to the Stanley Cup Finals. Charlie, that's all I've got. I'm going to send it back over to you.